Hi, I'm Anne from Game Like a Mother. Today I'm going to share a rules overview and review of Kraken Attack. It's ages 7 and up, 1 to 4 players, and it takes 25 minutes. Let me show you how to play. The goal of the game is to get 3 direct hits onto the Kraken figure before 4 holes are punched into your ship. For game setup, you put the pirate ship in the middle of the board, and you have to put the 8 walls for the boat on the side of the boat, and you put the tentacles of the Kraken. Yes, I realize the Kraken is over here, but it's also kind of underneath the boat and coming closer to the boat. This is how you set up the game. All the red tentacles on one side, all the blue on the other, and a few start further up. There's the bubble zone, cannon zone, pistol zone, and then saber zone. We're saying this is a 2-player game, and you pick your characters and you can put them. There are 4 different zones in the ship. There's the front zone that covers these 2 rows. There's the back zone that covers these 2 rows. And then there's 2 other sections over here. Each cover 2 rows and have 2 tentacles in each. Then you put the Kraken in its starting spot, and you put a colored die that corresponds to the spot on the board here. The Kraken will be moving along, and you'll have more dice to roll over the course of the game. You just start with 2 dice. There are whirlpool figures that you only use in an advanced game. They're not too tricky. Basically, if you have a whirlpool down in a spot, if the Kraken tentacle is supposed to move forward one, instead of going and staying on the spot, it just moves to the spot ahead of it. That's it. You can pick to use 1 to 4 to none. We're not going to use any for this round because this is an intro game. And then for each character, they have a specialty deck with their pictures on it. There are only 10 cards in the deck. You shuffle them up, and you place out 2 cards to start, and then whoever does the best octopus impression is supposed to get to go first. We'll say that Samuel, this character, is the best octopus impression. So that person will get to go first. All you do on your turn is you move the tentacles and play an action card. That's it. So this player would roll the dice, and it is fortuitous that this symbol came up because each character has a special ability, and Samuel's is perhaps the best. It is the one where he gets to ignore any Eye of the Kraken dice that come up. Typically, if you get whatever symbol is on the card, it's pretty on the die, it's pretty clear. This one has a jellyfish on the, according to the rules, these are purple dice, and these are purple tentacles, so we'll go ahead and call them that. So you'll move the purple jellyfish forward 1. You can see which one it is along the side, or even on the path. You can see they have the little symbols of whatever it is. And typically, if you get Eye of the Kraken, all of that color move forward 1, so it can be a lot. But this player, it doesn't have to pay attention to that, so it doesn't count. It stays back there. We'll go through the powers really quick. Elena gets to use pistol power, so if she were to use a card with a pistol on it, all of the tentacles in the pistol zone would go back to the bubble zone, regardless of where they are on the ship. Next, there's Astrid. They also have the powers written in a kind of a shortcut form at the bottom of their card. She gets to use one of the actions on her cards twice. So if she played this card, she could use any one of these actions twice. And then finally, there's Billy, who is the cannon specialist, and his is the least helpful, but it's still a power. And you can, he uses the cannon ability, then anybody on that side of the ship would, so if this was up here and he was able to use cannons against them, and he was on this side, he would shoot both of them back, but it wouldn't impact the ones on this side of the board. So, this player ignores that, and now it's part 2 of the turn. They get to play an action card, and the action cards, there's a symbols. All of the symbols mean something, and They are pretty clear what they are. And so he is going to, you don't have to use all of the symbols on the card, which is good because often you cannot. Nobody is in the saber zone. So he's just going to go ahead and choose to shoot back somebody in the pistol zone as his wild card. That's what the pirate flag means. And then he'll go ahead and move one. That's what the boot means. With the boot, you can move one spot right by you, but you cannot move diagonally. That is the only limitation of that. So that was it. It was not too exciting of a turn for him. You would discard this card off to the side, place a new card out, and the only other key part of this is anytime they make a silly face at the bottom of the card, the Kraken moves one space closer to the ship. So he's played a silly face card. Not all of them have silly faces at the bottom. This one over here, no silly face, but this one here has a silly face. So depending on that, that's how the Kraken moves forward. Now it's this player's turn. She does the same thing. She rolls. There is a blank side on each die, and if you get a blank side, then nobody moves forward. So we'll say she got a blank side, and then this moves forward one on this side, and she can go ahead and use pistol and cannon. So she would use pistol. Both of these would move back because that's her special ability. Cannon goes back, and then she can move one, and that is her silly face. So again, then the Kraken moves forward. And why this matters is then, as the Kraken moves forward, additional dice are added in that you roll. And so it starts to escalate. And as you play, you keep on going, and each player takes their turn. That's it. That you just move the tentacles and move an action card. And eventually, you have all of them in play, and the Kraken is here. A few other things to know along the way. If a tentacle gets up to the saber zone, and sometimes they move very quickly. You can get a bunch of the same symbol, or you can get eye of, if you got where Elena got 2 eyes of the Kraken and then a starfish, and it had been, this one had been here. They all would move forward. They would all move forward again because of the eye of the Kraken. And then this one would move forward once again. And for the first time, if there's a wall here, it runs into the wall. The wall goes to the side because you can rebuild them. And then it goes back to the bubble zone, that tentacle. It doesn't stay up here. However, if it was up here and there wasn't a wall, and it had been here and it went forward, and it crashes into the ship and there's no wall there, that's how you get the holes in your ship. And you can have more than one hole in the same spot. If it just happens again, then you can get additional holes, and there's no way to repair the holes in the ship. You can rebuild the wall with the hammer action, or with a wild, you can use that to rebuild the wall, but you cannot do anything about the holes in the ship. So if you get to 4, then you would lose. So now what happens when the Kraken gets to here and you play another funny face card? And actually, you should put these at the bottom of your deck as you play them, so you don't even have to shuffle or anything to keep on. You won't run out of cards, which is great. So the next time somebody plays a card with a funny face, if the Kraken's here at the end of the path, if they played this card and got to put out a replacement, that was the end of their turn, at that point, you get to pick a tentacle and replace it with the Kraken figure. So we'll just say it's, think of it as these were all of his tentacles underneath the boat, and then his head emerges. The head of the Kraken comes out. So we'll go ahead and say there, sure. So this is taken out of play. And now, anytime you roll Eye of the Kraken, unless you are this character, then if you rolled a purple Eye of the Kraken, if Elena did, then the Kraken and all of the tentacles on this side would move forward, as well as this spot. So if you got the purple hermit crab, then the Kraken would move forward one for that as well. But then this is where you start. This is where you get to win the game. So if she's able to, we'll put him in a spot where she's able to get him. Oh no, she had a pirate flag, so she could use that as a saber move. So if she chooses to use this card against the Kraken, then she's going to go ahead and we'll have her use the cannon on this tentacle and have the pirate flag be a saber. And so then you get to use these, and there's even fun spots on the Kraken that the hits against the Kraken count. And so he gets moved back to the bubble zone, and she has moved, so we'll go ahead and have her move over there. Place this on the bottom, and it would be this player's turn. If you play a card with a funny face, if she had played a card with a silly face on it, then at the end of her turn, even before rolling any of these dice, the Kraken would have moved forward again, one for that. So the Kraken is very easy to move forward at the end, but you only need to get 3 hits on him. Once you get 3 hits, then you only have, your ship is okay and it doesn't have 4 holes in it, then you have won the game. So that's how to play Kraken Attack. The target demographic for this game is kids. For games like this, they're perfect for siblings specifically, I would say. Cooperative games, you want your kids to be on the same team, but also have a really fun and engaging game. It's pretty fabulous. The rules complexity for this, I'd say, is medium. There's a lot going on. It's all fairly easy, but you feel busy while you're playing, and there's kind of a few pieces to keep track of. And when I play this with my son, who just turned 7, I do often have to say, oh, remember, you need to move the Kraken forward because you placed a silly face card down, or, oh, did you get that tentacle or use your power correctly? So there is a little bit to manage. Nothing is very difficult. It's just you are busy on each turn and there's a bit to do. How competitive is this game? It is low because it is a cooperative game and you are all working together, win and lose together, which I really love. I will say that in terms of winning the game, if you use the 2 characters with the best powers and you play on the base level of the game, which is how we have been playing it a lot, you're pretty much guaranteed to win every time. It's pretty easy to win. So if you want to manage the difficulty level of the game, they have easy factors in place that allow you to do so. You can play with some of the characters that don't have as good of powers, or they have these easy whirlpool tokens that propel tentacles closer to the ship, which I appreciate. I like that we've been doing that with some of our games lately, and there's a little more tension at the end. Oh, are we really going to win or not? Which I appreciate. So it's nice to have it where you can manage the difficulty level without adding much complexity to the game. Because of that, replay value, medium to high. This has been my son's go-to game lately, which has been really fun, and especially since I enjoy playing it with him. That's not always the case with some of the games for little kids, but this one is fun even for an adult to play with kids, which I really appreciate. If you like this game, you should also check out SOS Dino. It's by Loki Games, the same game manufacturer. They do a really good job of making games that seem to have to appeal equally to boys and girls, and it's a fun cooperative one where you're trying to save dinosaurs from the lava that's spreading around the board and trying to have them navigate to mountains and save eggs along the way too. It's really fun and sweet. And then also I would recommend Space Escape, which is by Peaceable Kingdom, and it's also known as Mole Rats in Space, and it's by the creator of Pandemic, and it's basically strategic shoots and ladders, but with a great theme. I really appreciate, it's the only Mole Rats themed game I've ever played, and I've played a lot of Kraken themed games too, so these games that come up with really clever and fun themes, I appreciate, and Mole Rats in Space is just one of my favorites as well. But we're loving Kraken Attack. I hope you check it out, and thanks, and see you next time from Game Like a Mother.